Welcome, everybody, to the Loud and Drunk podcast. This is Dan, joined again by Moses. Moses, we are going to, once and for all, settle the debate. North Jersey versus South Jersey. Can you give us a preview of this debate?
I'm representing the west-east side of Jersey, which is around the central area, but more northern than southern, but it's more southern than northern.
Oh, God, I forgot that you don't settle anything. You just make everything more chaotic. Oh, God. Why did I introduce this topic to you?
I was wondering the same thing. But here I am. I'm running with it. We'll see where it lands. Most likely the trash. I did bring a friend with me. He's my podiatrist, Dr. Patrick Schmier.
Yes, hello. It's delightful to be here. Moses, I do need you back in my office. You told me that this would be a 15-minute at-home meeting.
I'm not good with time.
Okay. All right. Well, I have a wife and children.
Well, we got to talk about that later.
Okay.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah.
Has something happened?
Yeah.
This is supposed to be a fun podcast.
And now it's a murder mystery.
You know, that genre does do better.
Yeah.
Well, Dr. Schmier,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us.
No, I'm very happy to be here. I honestly, this was completely thrown upon me. I was just supposed to be meeting with Moses for a routine consultation. I'm not a podiatrist, by the way. I actually don't know what podiatry is, but we met behind, it was a back alley of a porno theater, if we're being honest.
I thought it was at Black's.
No, well, I mean, that's where it was. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, you owe me $15. But anyways, I'm happy to be here, and I'm also happy to bestow my medical knowledge upon anybody that might be listening.
If you are curious...
You guys know that you have a cat here, right?
Yes, we're aware. He was chiming in a week ago.
All right.
If you were curious, a podiatrist is a foot doctor.
Oh, interesting. Wow, that's incredible. Well, yeah, I'm something of a foot fetishist myself.
That's what I figured you were at the porno theater for.
Well, that's
I have
exactly
a
what
terrible HMO.
And we are also joined once again by Justin. Justin, we have another guest, but I'm going to leave that up to you to introduce.
Yeah, okay, so I'm here. Yay me. But my wonderful fiance is here joining us today. So would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello, I'm Kristina. I am Loud and Drunk's #1 fan.
How sorry for you.
Good to have a fangirl on the podcast.
That's amazing, right?
Yeah.
How's her feet?
Easy, Doc.
How inappropriate. Thank you.
I love it when a plane comes together.
But before we get into the full plan, let's pay the rent. Anytime is a good time for stopping by TrueJersey.com. From t-shirts, hats, and hoodies, and you're probably going to need those hoodies pretty soon, True Jersey will show off your local pride like no other. And now, Loud and Drunk listeners can save 10% off their first order. Just go to TrueJersey.com and enter the code LOUD at the checkout to save 10%. Thank you to True Jersey for sponsoring this program. True Jersey. Stay true.
As a foot doctor, I can verify this. Their shoes are absolutely out of this world.
Doctor, what do you know about mustaches? Because I was putting out
Oh my God, that's my
cigarette.
second job, actually.
I just put out a cigarette. I didn't
I'm a
realize there was a mustache in the
mustacheologist,
ashtray.
Yeah.
That's a lot to say, Tim.
Strange. I don't know if I can help you, actually.
That is odd. There is a mustache in this ashtray.
It was on fire, but I think I have it under control now. Like, take that, Canada.
Why? Is that my third mustache?
It was.
There was 3 in that pack.
If we're going to light mustaches on fire, can we at least wait until this is a visual medium?
Yeah.
Why are we lighting things on fire and not capitalizing
Did you
on it?
waste that mustache?
I thought we kicked in with the smell-o-vision, so.
God damn you. God damn you.
He's right to be upset, man.
We haven't done that yet? No, sorry.
I looked over
Stay
at
tuned.
Moses, and I guess it's when he realized he lit this mustache on fire, and it looked like he was just mumbling to the ashtray.
Why the fuck is there a
Which wouldn't be out of this world.
Mumbling to the ashtray. That might be the name of the episode.
I'm mumbling to the ash. That's good. That's good.
We might actually have to rename the podcast.
I'll cross out footologist right in.
Well, before we rename the podcast, please subscribe. We are on Spotify, Apple, Google, and everywhere else you get your podcasts. If you aren't subscribed to our YouTube and Rumble channels, you are missing out on the full Loud and Drunk experience. We are posting shorts that will give you the full visual of some of our best moments. So be sure to subscribe to our channels, smash that like button, leave us a comment, and share this video with your friends so you don't miss out on all of our content. We want you to be a part of the conversation as well, so join us on social media. We are at Loud and Drunk on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. Make sure you are helping us out by leaving us a 5-star review on Apple and Facebook. If you like this podcast, then become a Loud and Drunk supporter. You can find us on Locals at loudanddrunk.locals.com and on Patreon at patreon.com/loudanddrunk. So, Justin, we're here with your fiance.
Yeah.
So it seems like it's a perfect time to get her perspective on how you met
Yeah.
and a number of stories that you've told us about, your relationship with her.
Be kind to me, baby.
No can do, chimp.
Doc?
We always say when people ask how we met, it's this thing where, I found him in the front yard. And so that's pretty legit. That is how it happened. But the front yard part is, so my family has a shore house. And it just so happens to be the shore house in his neighborhood where he grew up. So I spent my summers in this neighborhood and that he grew up in, but he also bought a house in this neighborhood too. And so the summers in which I had started to come back around, because I went all the way up north, and so I started to come around again in this one of these summers, and he just so happened to be in the front yard when I came back from a concert one night back to my cousin's house, and I was like, ooh, my cousin's got a hot guy in the front yard, and I was like, oh yeah,
We're talking about the same person,
right? So I wanted to be the one to. I don't like unwanted attention. I'm like, if a guy wants to try to get with me, I'm like, nah. I want to be the one that's like, oh yeah, I like you, so I'm gonna go after you. And so pretty much I was the one that was like, hey, how are you? What you doing?
I found a good victim.
Yeah. And he's just passed out in your front lawn right at this moment, right?
Well, no. Then there was the summer of us, and then the break, and then we got back again.
That's a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
Girl meets boy in front yard.
Yeah, absolutely. He looks like the kind of guy who would be passed out in the front yard.
I have passed out in that front yard.
Manicured lawn, I imagine, so it's nice and soft to rest your head.
Well,
You've been there, and you know that's not the case.
I don't know.
rocks.
Going strong ever since.
That's right.
There were no odd looks shown between each other. But, so you're originally from all over the northern part of the state.
Yeah. So I was born in Linden, New Jersey, and from Linden, my family and I moved to Bridgewater, which is somewhat central. And then when I went to school, I moved up north to Wayne area. And then from there, I moved further north to the Butler area, which a lot of people scratch off the map. Butler's if someone I meet knows Butler, I'm very surprised.
I don't even know where that is.
Right,
I've been
exactly.
all over the state. Yeah.
And then I moved to South River, which again I think is to me the best location there is in New Jersey. It's very Middlesex County is central. You're close to everything. You can eat whatever you want. And then when I moved in with Justin, South Jersey, it's okay, well, we can only have so many things when it comes to food.
That works out though, because he's a great cook.
That is true.
He
but
can make you all the things. Yeah.
I do not cook for her.
Yeah.
I don't eat meat.
Justin,
so
I
fair
am
enough.
just putting it out there. I would love some Indonesian food today.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll get right on that.
Yeah, listen.
Yeah.
Whatever
We
you need
have-
to make that happen.
Christina and I have opposite diets. I eat the meat, she eats the non-meat things.
No, I'm gonna eat meat.
AKA vegetables.
Ugh, that's boring.
I do some seafood.
Oh yes, actually, that's one of the best parts about living down here. I am now a seafood snob. Now I know that North Jersey and New York really don't know what the fuck they're doing with seafood.
No, fucking I. You got to be down here in South Jersey.
I broke my vegan lifestyle because my brother wanted crabs for his birthday, and we were in Central Jersey at the time. And then Justin comes over and sees, oh, we are eating all female crabs. Of course, we don't know and we don't care. We're like, yay, crab night. And
Silly
Justin is
people.
like, you're really not supposed to be doing this, and this is not. And now I know. Oh yeah, I know. Now I know what I want. Now I know that it's good where I'm living, and it's much better here. And so, perk of living South Jersey, good
Yeah.
seafood.
The good food.
For a person myself who doesn't eat seafood anymore because I grew up eating all the seafood,
Oh, yeah.
evidently very snobbish about seafood, I guess.
That's what happens when you live on a boat for your rearing years.
Yeah, it's what we did, and now I cook. Your family, when they come down, we do like a big crab boil and stuff, but like I couldn't be bothered to eat any of that shit.
I fucking love crab oils. We do one of those at like the end of August, something like that. I'm not a snob about it, but my God. People from North Jersey, no offense, Kristina, absolutely do not know the joy of a properly caught crab is.
Agree.
That's where I'm at.
I need pork belly. I need that pork belly. When you make his Indonesian food,
I'll throw some pork belly on for you. Yeah, no problem.
I could eat pounds and pounds.
Steve's been trying to make that pork belly. He bitches to me about it all the time.
Yeah, he keeps calling me and
I know,
texting
I'm sure
me
he
about
does.
it.
Yeah, he asked me to text you.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, just talk to him yourself. I was like, I'm not a fucking cook. I don't know how to make
I
it.
told him, like he overdoes it.
Yeah.
He's trying
He
to do
overdoes
too
everything.
many things.
Yeah.
You make it look so easy.
Because it is easy.
It is easy. I agree with Justin. I don't even fucking make it, and I agree with him. And Steve's a great goddamn cook, too.
Oh, wait, one of the best, like, all-around cook and
Yeah.
phenomenal barbecue
Yeah.
guy.
He makes great dishes. But yeah, he can't figure that
He
one out.
just can't get the pork belly done.
Yeah, he's over, because as you said, he's overthinking it.
For the purpose of our listeners, we're not talking about Steve the bartender who was a guest. We are talking about a different
Oh, no, we're
Steve.
talking about Drunk Steve.
Yes.
Drunk Steve. Yeah. Debatably the better of the Steves. Fantastic cook. He weighs about 7,000 pounds now.
As any good cook should.
As any good cook should.
It's Kim Steve.
nah, he's a husky
You
man.
had Kim on as a guest. It's
We
Kim.
did,
It's
yeah,
Kim. I
yeah,
refer to
yeah.
him as Kim Steve.
No,
Mama
he's
Kim.
a husky man, and he's able to cook the most delicious dishes. Which honestly, I've never trusted someone who cooks. And no offense to you, Justin, so you're keeping in pretty good shape, much to my chagrin. But people who cook well, they have that extra bit of weight on them, and he looks the part, he does the whole thing, and he basically makes the most delicious food that I've ever had in my entire life.
I'm hard pressed to remember him ever actually eating.
He doesn't eat, yeah. Which is honestly, it's one of the things. That's why I mentioned, like I've said to him, I'm like, how are you so fucking fat? And he says, I eat when you're not around. And I was like, how is that the case? Because I'm always
Should I come
here.
around more?
I'm like a piece of the furniture here. And somehow, though, it just works out that way. But
He's
he
like a
makes
shame eater. He only does it in private.
something like that, I guess. Yeah. No, he makes the most delicious food, though. He's like the best fucking cook. But yeah, he cannot replicate those pork bellies, which is so fucking funny because it's the easiest dish to make. At least as far as if you know what the fuck you're doing. And he makes much more complicated things, but nonetheless, here we are.
Continuing on with food, Kristina made a point before that I think is really accurate. Up in the northern part of the state, you have such a wide variety that that's easily accessible to you, which is something we don't have down here.
It sucks.
I mean, we're living in the whitest of Whitesville,
Yeah.
southern
You
New
know,
Jersey.
like pizza? That's all we have is pizza.
We have
pizza.
Chinese food.
We have Chinese food that's the same Chinese food at every Chinese food place.
It's all owned by Mr. Chow.
North Jersey pizza is much better than South Jersey pizza.
Fuck
You
right
throwing pizza out there as an option? No.
How is North Jersey
Yeah.
pizza better? I'm sorry,
trying to
Dan.
think of a
Closer
good-
to New York.
First of all, no, I'm arguing against that wholly because New York City pizza is not good.
It's not good.
Dan,
Not
are
good.
you? No, are you? Come on.
I'm not.
It is the best of anywhere. Outside of like separate things like Boardwalk Pizza. Fine, you got that.
There's a reason that New York is just like flowing with diarrhea, and it's probably the pizza.
I can't believe you're knocking New York pizza. For
It's
real.
not good.
It's cheap.
Guys,
It's cheap. You can get a $2
debatably,
slice.
we're New Jerseyans. We know that New York pizza is the best pizza.
I don't think
The
we do
style,
know that.
the style is better. Like if we're arguing about like,
It's like a thin
It's
pizza.
the same style, yeah. It's not one of those casseroles.
well, I mean, in terms of the style, like if we were debating New York versus like Chicago style pizza, I would say that New York style.
I mean, despite being from New Jersey, I like a deep dish pizza.
I'm not saying that
about
I don't like it. I just say I would rather have a New York style. And now that might be because I'm from this area.
I'd rather have the deep dish. I know that it's like mostly bread and bullshit like
Yeah.
that, but I'm about that. I'm like way into it.
Yeah, I mean,
That said,
I pretty much consider them like completely separate things.
they're different animals. One is a casserole.
Yes, accurate.
Yeah, and the other one is a pizza. But that said, New Jersey does New York pizza better than New York does.
Yes.
New York cuts corners
North
because they can.
Jersey does pizza better
What
than
the
New
fuck
York.
ever. That's
but South
bullshit.
Jersey, I'm sorry. It doesn't.
Listen, the only thing that we can agree on then is that the same people are making the pizzas, and that's Mexicans. They are making that pizza. They're doing it better than everybody
Well,
else.
they have the
they're
water
making it the same
in New
way.
York.
Oh my god. Oh my god. I don't even know where to go now.
I have had a New York pizza, which was a baked ziti pizza. Don't ask me why I ordered it, because to this day I don't understand
Yeah,
why.
why
I've had one of those, and
Yeah, they're filling.
I hear you.
Yeah. And it was like
You didn't get enough carbs with the pizza?
with the actual
you fucking
pizza.
fat ass. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're ordering wrong. It's all about the
How are
plate.
you not 700 pounds? It's amazing to me.
because I run.
Oh my god, yeah.
But yeah, I got the big ziti pizza, and it's fine, but the big ziti was a little dry. It was a little overbaked. It's like, listen.
Oh, so you're Jewish?
Yes. You call this baked ziti?
What
First of
about
all-
bagels? How do you feel about bagels? Is a
Bagels are way better in North Jersey. 100%.
you. Same thing. The
South
water,
Jersey
the bread.
people, it's not the fucking water.
Well, it
no,
might
the
be.
difference is that there's Jews up in North Jersey who know how to make a proper fucking
Because there's
bagel.
not Jews in South Jersey.
There's like 2 Jews here.
We know them.
Are you referring to Lakewood as South Jersey? Because that's not the case. I'm sorry, where is South Jersey?
It's its own little spot.
Yeah.
There's going to be a stabbing on this podcast at some point.
Yo, come at me, girl.
And I would also argue against that. Maybe as in toto, North Jersey is better than South Jersey in terms of bagels. But there are spots in South Jersey that have good bagels.
Yes, that's
In
true.
this town where we are filming this broadcast, there's fucking 3-4 bagel places, and one of them is acceptable.
Manhattan.
Not even good. It's not what?
What?
Just
What?
we got
You are so close to getting kicked off. If my mother was here, thank God.
The bagels
Thank
down
God.
here, it's like they're like these big, just doughy kind of like it's just like a small
fucking-
bowl of bread.
Yeah.
Ginormous.
Yeah, they're making bread or something along those lines. It's not a fucking bagel. The only people who make good bagels are Jews, and there's Jews in North Jersey. That's what it comes down to, and that's one of the very few foods that Mexicans can't make. That's what it comes down to. When you're talking about pizza, Italians have been completely usurped. They're just done. There's no point in even keeping them around. I'm sorry, Moses, but there's nothing left. Bagels are the last thing that we've got, and they're better in North Jersey. Strong opinion.
I think you woke Moses up when
Yeah.
you started talking.
He's
I'm still thinking about that pork belly.
I saw the corner of his lip kind of moving around.
But like up there, like you can get Indian food, African food, like all within a mile of wherever you are.
That's the worst part about living in a rural area.
I will see the point that there is more variety, because you can go into Philadelphia or New York City and you can go to like Fogo de Chao and you can get a very nice meal, although it'll be a little expensive, except if you go on Veterans Day and you're a veteran.
I'm sorry that you served your country, Dan.
Well, I mean, you guys benefited from that.
We
I've been stealing
benefited
valor
in
for
the
days.
most wild way
Stolen
possible.
valor is commendable when it's spoken to chow.
I think that when you go to an urban area, that is one of the key benefits, is that you've got a large immigrant population, and that results in having a better quality of the variety of food. And that's legit. Because if you're not satisfied with eating fucking, wonton every day, then that's a tremendous benefit.
I do like
and you
the
don't get that down here in the rural areas or in any rural area. Yeah, I know, you're fucking obsessed with Chinese food. It's
you don't get him
disgusting.
started.
Yeah.
Don't get him
He's
started.
going to order it right now.
I gotta make a call.
I got a guy.
We're beyond that point.
There's no helping you now.
That half sub wasn't enough.
And not for nothing, I would even like to just broaden that even to the contrary, because like you guys have traveled other places in the United States, and when you go to, for example, like I've been to California and ordered a pizza there because I'm a boring person, and I was like, even though I'm here, I'm going to get a food that I could easily eat in New Jersey, and I did do that, and I got what they called a pizza, and I honestly don't think I've ever been so depressed in my life.
Well, because you're selecting the food wrong. Like, you don't go to like California and get a pizza.
You get tacos
You get
there.
tacos.
Yeah, exactly. Because
Yeah.
they've got Mexicans who make awesome fucking Mexican food.
Because when I went to San Diego, I got like a burrito there, and I'm like, oh my god, never order Mexican food in New Jersey ever again.
Yeah.
Because it's just better here.
Yeah.
Like, they have like the way Italian restaurants work here, where you just trip over them, just trying to get to somewhere else.
Yeah, they're
It's the
everywhere.
same thing in California, where you're just tripping over taco places.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Makes sense though. Like sometimes you just want a pizza, forgetting where you are. I've done that
Yeah.
with bagels.
You become
I want a
used
bagel
to-
for breakfast, and
Yeah.
I'm not in New Jersey,
If
and then
you-
I'm like instantly regretting that I ordered
Exactly,
a bagel.
and that's why I kind of like got hung up on that a little bit. Is that bagels are one of those things where you really, if you leave this immediate area, and I'll reluctantly include North Jersey in this, but North Jersey, basically Jersey in general, New York, maybe Philly. But if you leave this general area, you will not get a good bagel, and that's like, and it's such a unique thing that you like when you crave it, you crave it. And you need that very specific thing. And when you go to fucking, I don't know, Indiana, you get like a loaf of bread or a donut, maybe, like something along those lines. It's very dissatisfying. Good in its own way, but it's not what you wanted.
It's, with you saying that, you actually got to kind of think that outside of our immediate area, most people have never had a good bagel.
Well, that's
a
just
proper
it.
bagel.
It's that, yeah, they're eating a fucking dung. It's the same way as like people fucking like they consider, I've read this, that people consider, what is it, like a blonde coffee, like a light roast, basically. They consider that to be the best type of coffee. That's like a statistic done across the entire country. And when I read that, I was shocked because that's not my flavor. But then when you think about what everyone has been introduced to, it makes more sense because they've never had a good cup of coffee. It's the same way as it is with a bagel or pizza or something like that. If all that you've had is Domino's, then anything that isn't Domino's is presumably going to taste delicious to you.
It's weird with pizza. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that people were putting ranch on pizza. Like we don't
that's
do that
horrible.
here.
Why?
It's like weird that that's a thing everywhere else.
Because they're trying to
Everywhere
cover the
else.
taste?
I guess.
Was it like American cheese on there?
Who like people obsess over ranch? I don't understand it, but it's because they're not from here. Like,
Yeah.
It's weird.
Have you ever had a St. Louis style pizza?
What is that? No, I
It
haven't.
has a mystery cheese called Provel on it.
Are you
I
joking
have
with
had
me?
this
I've never heard of
before.
this.
Yeah.
Is that the only difference of it? Is just that one cheese?
Kind of. Well, it's ass. It's ass. Just know it's ass.
Oh.
But yeah, it's their famous St. Louis style pizza. And
They're
it had
great for chicken wings, but what the fuck are they making pizza for? They don't
like
got no fucking itais or juice
This
there.
Provel cheese, like it doesn't melt. It just kind of looks like shredded cheese on top of the pizza when you get it, like you would get out of like one of those shitty
This
shaky
is
bags.
so offensive to me, and I'm not even fucking Italian.
Well,
Oh my god.
let me jump in here real quick, too, because you're bringing up St. Louis. St. Louis is known for making fried ravioli, and you probably should have known I was going to jump in with that anyway. But
I did.
it is literally,
I was trying to buy time.
but it is the best. There are places that I've gone to where it's like, here you get, if you order a fried ravioli, it's going to be like a regular ravioli. It's going to have cheese or beef or whatever the hell it is. Like sometimes they have like lobster, crab, whatever the hell ravioli. There, it's like 3 things in one ravioli. You got meat, cheese, and spinach. And I'm like, holy shit. This is great. Like I charged my old job $70 for a cab ride just to go to this place.
I thought it was $70 worth of ravioli.
No, the ravioli, it was a fancy place. I was underdressed, but I just sat at the bar, and then I ordered that, and it was great. And then I was like, well, you got to get an entree because you charge $70 to the company just to get here. And then I got manicotti, and it was not up to snuff. So you can run into the same situation where you're just getting a pizza or they just make pizza shitty. But if you specialize in that one thing, kind of like what we're talking about, it's out of this world. It's like, no, I want to go back to St. Louis, which is not good for my health because it's one, the fried ravioli, two, it's actually not that safe of a city. But, to get that fried ravioli again, I'd absolutely do it.
I wish you folks could see the glint in Dan's eye.
Oh my God.
It's magical.
It is a passion that I have. It's like Navy football and fried ravioli.
He just got a golden ticket for a ravioli place.
Someone once told me that, because I've always wanted to go to Istanbul. I've always wanted to go to Turkey. And my teacher, whoever it was, someone had said, you gotta have a peach in Istanbul. And you'd think weird. I want what you think of when you think of Turkish food. That's what I would want. But now I'm like, oh, I'm gonna go to Turkey. I'm gonna have a peach. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be
They're known for their peaches?
I don't know, but apparently it's better than here.
It probably is. It's a farming country, right? They're known for growing olives. I know that. That's a fact.
Not something I knew.
That's all I got, though.
And we're all more enlightened for it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
So let's bring this back to the North Jersey, South Jersey debate, because obviously there's advantages to living North Jersey and there's advantages to living in South Jersey. North Jersey, obviously, you're more closely aligned to New York City, so there's more to do. Here, you have to deal with less bullshit. If you want to go to sleep before 3 a.m., you can without somebody laying
would you
into
want
a horn. But it seems it's more of a debate between what would you rather do? Would you rather live in an urban setting or a suburban or rural setting?
For myself, it's rural. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, because knowing you and you like to do a whole bunch of yard work.
I'm trying to shoot guns and do yard work and set up fireworks, and God knows what I'm doing, but I don't need people seeing it.
But you also like to be entertained, sir. Like in
I do like the food thing. The food thing is legit. You really, when you go to that rural setting, even when you're in this part of New Jersey, as we already mentioned, it's that you absolutely are wanting for that. You are limited to your own resources, and it's the pro and the con to it. It's that I love to be able to be independent and do the things that I want to do and not have anybody bother me about that. But at the same time, you're then losing all of the things that you otherwise enjoy. The food, the interaction, that's a big thing. When I go to a bar in podunk fucking wherever, basically the reality of it is that I'm hanging out with old white men, so the conversation is the same. It's how Trump is awesome, how the election was stolen, and I don't care. That's not the conversation I'm trying to have. But it's nice when I go to an urban setting, and one, it's not just a political conversation, but also you're hearing their perspective on regular conversation.
Yeah, correct.
Basically it's just whatever it is, but you're hearing it from a black guy, a Mexican guy, a fucking Jew, whoever the fuck it is, different people. That's the bottom line. And you don't get that when you go to the rural setting. You tend to be much more so in I guess they call it an echo chamber, but it's along those lines, So it's a pro and a con to it. I don't want to interact with people except when I want to interact with them. So my general thinking about it is that I like to travel to those places.
My sentiment's always been a city's nice to visit, definitely wouldn't want to live there. Speaking for myself, it's just too crazy, too hectic.
Too much.
And as much as, access to a variety of things is nice, I could live without it because I'd rather have my space.
I was just up in the city the other day, maybe 2-3 days ago, something like that. And we went over to, this is New York, we went over to Bryant Park. And in there was multiple different, basically sheds where they were serving, they different restaurants, but they were each based out of a shed. So it was very basic. All of them had Jewish food, or at least food that was worded in this way. And a lot of these words, I didn't even fucking know. And I'm fucking Jewish. Yeah. It's there was words where it was just I don't know what the fuck that is. And I just ordered it anyway. So, but regardless of it, it was interesting food. And it was basically, it just had a Jewish flair to it. So it was baked goods and things along those lines. And that was very delightful. And I made fun of it, as I'm one to do, but the food was absolutely delicious. At the same time, though, it was one of those pros and cons. It was food that I can't get here in Podunk, New Jersey. You just can't get it straight up, You can get regular waffles, you can get diner food, but at this particular park in New York, you were able to get these little nuances of it. But at the same time, I waited on a line with 20 people on it, and I had to eat in a park. The only people that I wanted to eat with were the goddamn pigeons. I hated everything else about it. Thank God for the abundance of pigeons, though. That was nice.
I will say, having spent some time in, I guess we're just doing the classification of North versus South Jersey. Anything above the Raritan is North Jersey, and anything below it is South Jersey. Is that what we're going to go by?
More or less, yeah.
I mean, like that's
what I go by.
Just so we define it, especially for the audience.
Yeah.
We need to know.
I think traditionally that's the way I've always just kind of.
I'll say this about it. I think that the concept of North Jersey is that it's urban, and therefore that concept can change is in terms of where it is. And over the years that I've lived here, several decades, I think that idea, that urbanization has encroached on this part of the state, which I personally don't like. So I think that it does change. My traditional definition would be that it is the Raritan River, Driscoll Bridge, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I think that over time, it's absolutely crept down further south as towns become more urbanized, as people move away from New York, or maybe just the population grows, something along those lines. But I mean, for me, it's that the definition of the culture has to do with the people who live there and the way in which that culture then unfolds. So like when I look at South Jersey, where I spend a fair amount of time, when you go down there, it's not just the politics, it's that you've got people who are kind of invested in a more rural lifestyle. They are about doing everything for themselves. They hate the government. They don't want the cops there, that type of thing. And you go to what we call North Jersey. And I think that it's more the idea that like the garbage man didn't pick up my trash on time. You know, you're a little bit more dependent upon the government. I view it a little bit in that way. And I think that line in particular, if that's how we judge it, myself, then I think that has drifted further south as population has expanded and so on and so forth.
Well, then you muddy the waters a little bit, though, because you could make that same case for, around this area as well, because this is still technically a suburb of New York, because people come here to live so they can work in New York.
Yeah.
So we kind of need to set a definition so we can actually, have the debate.
As New York becomes more expensive,
yes,
that line gets further and further away.
Yeah.
If you can't afford to live there, then you're going to drive further because you can afford a house, down here.
Yeah.
You're going to drive further to get to that place where you can make the money to live in this spot. As far as how that muddies the water, you're 100% right. But even still, I would say that my line of the Raritan River, that's drifted further south. You have to move further and further away from a city to still be able to make enough money to live, basically. Yeah. You're talking about living, basically just the standard of living that you want.
So where would you put it then?
Tom's River.
Tom's River, that's the line.
That's my line.
So Long Branch would be considered North Jersey to you.
I consider any spot where you are routinely dealing with congestion on a major road to be a North Jersey area. It's an urban area. It's just urban.
What about space though? Like I feel like North Jersey for me is I'm living on top of everyone.
Yeah.
And I've been central north enough, like Elizabeth Linden area, where I could see my neighbor taking a shower because the in between the houses, the space is so tight.
My opinion would be that Tom's River is getting that way.
Is it though?
I think so.
They still have space.
It
There's a
seems
yard.
like it is. It gets more and more congested every year.
I mean, it
down
definitely
here,
is filling out.
Oh, it's filling out. And when we are like pushing the levels of our like infrastructure, like
when you have no
road-wise
green
and stuff.
spaces left, how can you call it rural? That's what it is. I think that North Jersey is in many ways defined by the way that any city is. New York, where it's like you designate a particular place for a park, and that's your green area.
And then the rest of it
is just people. Yeah, exactly. It's just driveways and houses and so on and so forth. And I think that Tom's River and Brick and so on and so forth, I think they do represent that. And then you have to get beyond those places where you begin to just see like green areas again.
Well, then, especially muddying the waters because, there are spots in what would be North Jersey that are greener than here. But that wouldn't be considered South Jersey because it's way too north.
Oh, that's a very good point. Yeah.
And then we also have spots like I've looked at lines where it's like this is where South Jersey is.
You have to go west for those, though.
Yeah, you have to go west, but you're damn near Philadelphia.
Yeah.
So you're technically a suburb of Philadelphia,
but even
it's
like
still
in North Jersey, if you go west, you'll find those spots again.
Yeah.
So you're right in that North Jersey is not entirely defined by the definition that I put forth. But in North Jersey, you do have to, it's not the corridor between New York and here, essentially.
Yeah.
So there's another definition that I'm failing to find.
Well, it's also the flaw with the debate between North and South Jersey that it ignores those variables. Because if you're near Wind Gap in Pennsylvania, it's all rural there. Like, you're not running to very many cities, but it's north. It's way north. So what are you to do with this, this debate where it's an urban, versus suburban, rural type situation when you're running into rural areas in what would be North Jersey?
Well, then it's more of a question where is the line between West and East New Jersey?
Yeah. And it's funny, too, because when you look at those maps and you're damn near Philadelphia, it extends up. And it's like, well, Trenton is considered South Jersey, but that's more urban than anything north of it.
Well, north, like Butler North is very, like, you're talking Pennsylvania, but is on the border of New York. I've never hiked more ever than because it's so green and there's less people than even down here, but they cut it off. It's like, to me, that's why I say like Elizabeth Linden, like border north, because it's beyond north to me is Butler and like places like that are not so tight.
It's also, too, it's like you're practically, the weird thing about New Jersey is that every area is kind of like, it's not really a state in and by itself. It's like an amalgam of other states. So you have the areas right by Philadelphia, and it's really more like Philadelphia. You have the areas like the orbiting cities that you're talking about, like Elizabeth and Linden and all those areas. It's really more like New York. And then you have the areas that are right by, northeastern Pennsylvania, and it's really just an extension of Northeast Pennsylvania and an extension of
the cultural influence is real.
The problem with New Jersey in and of itself, it's had an identity crisis, and the only thing that really had to latch onto is the angry Italian.
No, that's fair. We have Danny DeVito, and that's it.
Philly's collecting him up now.
Yeah. But although he's doing ads for Jersey Mike, so,
Is he really?
Yeah.
He is. It's sad because those are shitty sandwiches.
Yeah, they're almost sandwiches.
Not our sponsor.
They can't be a sponsor now because they'd be very upset.
Yeah.
Quick diversion about Jersey Mike's, though.
Thank you to Jersey Mike's.
I was in Nashville this past year doing on a business trip. Nashville has exquisite food. Like, if we're talking about food, it's like you go there and there's like, you can trip over good places to eat. While at work, essentially the person who was in charge, I'm not trying to diamond anybody out, but she had the idea that it's just like, all right, let's order food, and goes to the person who worked under me, gives him her business card and says, just order something for Jersey Mike's. And I was thinking, what? Why would we order something that we could just get here? The first night I was there, he took me to a spot and I got a brisket taco, and it was amazing.
Yeah.
And I was like, can we just order from that spot again? Like, the day after she was gone, I told the guy who worked for me, he was like, do you want me to go run out and get lunch? And I was like, yeah, absolutely. Not Jersey Mike's.
I go out of my way to not eat it in New Jersey.
It's like, oh my God, the thing that I would get there, like a tuna sandwich or a roast beef, I can make that myself and it'll be better.
That goes back to the conversation that we were having, though, where it's like that in fucking, like, there's Pizza Hut Italian cuisine. That's a thing that exists in other states.
Yeah.
And because I obviously am not Italian at all, but here we appreciate, or we should appreciate, that you have access to these things. You go to fucking Texas and you try to order Italian food where there's no fucking Italians.
Italian.
Yeah, right, exactly, yeah. The reality of it is there's no Italian person to teach the Mexicans how to make the food real nice. And that's what it comes down to.
That's also a thing that I ran into when I was in Florida. Now, there's a fair amount of, like, snowbirds, people who migrate down there to retire after they're done living in New Jersey. But it's still like, you still don't have a tremendous amount of good Italian food to go from down there.
No,
so
it's trash.
Yeah.
The food there,
And we
were there together.
Yeah. But I was also there more recently. And you just run into like, I guess I'm just going to Hooters because there's nothing else here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have family in Florida, and we like send food shipments down there.
Yeah. No.
That's actually an interesting point.
Care
too.
basket.
Yeah.
Because my eldest brother, he lives down in Tennessee.
Okay.
And my uncle sent him essentially a New Jersey care package, which is just a log of Taylor ham pork roll.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I can give this to my daughters. And they liked it, apparently. Just, you can tell that's like, oh, that's a Jersey dad.
Yep.
It's like, oh,
Yeah.
pork roll, that's a coming of age tale.
It's funny when you actually think about, well, just quickly on the topic of pork roll or Taylor ham, or whatever the fuck you want to call it, our state meat that no one can decide what it's actually called. How do you explain that to a person?
You don't.
Oh, it's this
impossible.
log of fermented pork stuff.
Yeah. It's a rich man's hot dog.
Yeah.
Wild. I was just thinking that in my head. I'm like, how would you explain that product to anybody
And
else?
that's just it. You can't explain it, which is why it's not replicated anywhere. Because obviously the taste is universal. Things that taste good.
Yeah.
You know? But yeah, no, you can't describe it. It's its own unique, salty, porky flavor.
I want to deviate. I want to deviate from the North Jersey, South Jersey thing. And I actually want to open this up for a debate. Pork roll, Taylor ham, which one is it?
Taylor
Oh,
ham.
it's pork roll.
We got opposite sides. Prepare your arguments.
Christina,
Oh, well,
you have the floor.
I'm North Jersey, so
Yes.
in North Jersey we say Taylor ham, and it's better than pork roll.
It's not ham. Taylor doesn't make it.
It's pork roll because you don't eat cases Taylor ham.
All
You
right,
eat
so-
cases pork roll.
Fine, so it's the brand name, right? That's
Yeah.
basically
It's
what it
Taylor.
is.
But it's
like-
not the brand name.
No,
Well, it's just Taylor.
It's Taylor.
Was.
It's Taylor
Yeah,
brand pork roll.
Taylor was the
fine.
originator.
It's the Kleenex, the tissue. Like it's the same. Do you
the
like,
Xerox.
It's it's the dilution of the trademark, essentially. Like everyone associates that brand with the actual product itself.
correct? Do you eat pork roll but in a different brand? Because you wouldn't want that. You want the Taylor ham.
What is there? Like there's Trenton pork roll, right?
Case.
There's
Yeah,
Trenton
There's
case.
Case.
And
Yeah.
then there's like the generic, supermarket ones.
And you're eating that? You're not eating the Taylor ham?
It's all the same.
No.
It is
all
all the same.
It's all the same fucking thing.
You know, it's rare that I agree with Moses.
Like, how many different ways are you making this pork
Yeah.
roll meat?
It's garbage food.
Yeah.
I will jump in and try to defend your point, Christina, because that's also the same point my dad makes. That is the best version of this product. So
Yes.
that's what I want. But also at the same time, while I would disagree with you, it's I don't go into a restaurant and when I want ice cream, I don't say, can I get Breyers?
But you
Why
should,
would you
because
want
Breyers
Breyers?
is the
Yeah,
best
that's not even ice cream. That's
Yeah,
like
That's
like-
what I'm saying, though.
like
It's
frozen
pork roll
yogurt.
isn't meat. Why are you jumping on me for that?
I
Sorry.
also
I'm
don't
using that as an
eat it, so-
example to prove the point.
I know. I'm very cantankerous today.
Oh.
I've been drinking a lot.
Do tell.
very passionate about my ice cream.
Well, they can't all be Turkey Hill.
Well, it's a sherbet.
That's good ice cream. Stop saying sherbet. That is an obnoxious thing.
That's how it's spelled.
I'm going to fight you over this.
All right.
Let's do it.
So, Christina, let me jump in here and ask you a question. Because you've been down here for a minute. You still go back up to South River every once in a while, correct?
Correct.
What do you miss most about that North Jersey area?
Honestly,
being down here?
my brother lives in South River, so I go to visit him often. And when I do, I take advantage of his DoorDash menu. Like, to me, that's what it is. It's like, ooh, I'm in South River. I want to eat something different. For me, that's the best. That's the best part about going back to North Jersey is that all the other like traffic and all the other bullshit. To me, it's like I love living down here for that reason. And you guys, thinking about being down here. We get hit with tourists, and I never thought that I was gonna be, because I used to be that person, and Benny, have you will. And now I get to be part of that club. I get to be like, yeah, Benny, go home.
Yeah.
I get to be part of that, but going up north for me, it's food.
I would argue, because I did live up there for a brief period of time, it would be walking distance to a number of things. Because I actually, sometimes you don't want to get into a car to do a thing. So it's just like, oh, maybe I just want to get a bite to eat or go to the bar, and I can just walk there. And that's especially helpful when you're trying to drink, and I'm like, well, you can't pull me over for walking drunk. I can get hit with a public.
You haven't been to South Jersey,
they
friend.
They can do that.
No, they can pull you. They can grab you for public intoxication, but
That's a good point. I know that you have more variety. Like you can go to this bar or that bar, but even where I live, it's still I could walk to that bar if I wanted to.
I know the
or
bar
at least
that
I know
you're
I can walk
talking about,
home.
but it's also it's more treacherous
It's got to
than
be Lunois, right?
That's
Blue Wine, son?
Yeah, Luma, that was a great bar.
That was fucking ridiculous.
Was.
Yeah,
Oh,
they're
that's
out
right,
of
it's
business,
closed,
right?
yeah.
Oh my God, the damage that I
silence.
did to my body. at
But
that
Dan,
spot.
to your point though,
My
I think
cart.
that the convenience of walking to a place, like if I didn't have on the corner of where we live is that there's a deli. So I can get my cigarettes, I can get whatever it is I need in a walk.
Yeah.
And yeah, I had that in North Jersey. Maybe I have more options in North Jersey, but that's the fun of having one place and you meet, like I have a friend at the deli.
Yeah,
and like,
yeah. You also, especially in the area that I was living in, you could just, all right, I'm going to start at the furthest possible bar, and then I'll just hit every one on the way back home, which is actually pretty nice, especially if you're like,
Sounds awesome, actually.
Yeah, I don't. First of all, a lot of those bars aren't very good.
That's fair.
they never are.
Yeah, yeah. You have like,
If they have whiskey, then I'm all right.
you have one or two that are like pretty good. Some of them are pretty overrated. I don't want to say too much because I will probably get a fair amount of shit from my family if I say which one is overrated.
I'll defend you, Dan. Don't worry.
You're going to defend me at a family function?
I mean, I'll show up anytime. Yeah.
All right, so
Who's this guy? I met him once.
he's my podiatrist.
I'm here to talk shit. Absolutely. I'm checking on all y'all's feet.
Dan, I know we didn't put it in the invitation, but no Portuguese.
Wow. Dan, you going to edit this?
I do have to edit the podcast every once in a while.
Every once in a while. It's not often, but it happens.
Yeah. Sometimes it just goes up the way because I just don't care.
Yeah. You're right. Whatever you choose to do, you're right.
I really want that pork belly now.
Still not letting it go.
Nope, I'm not.
We were talking about pizza before, and it's killing me inside. It's killing me.
I was talking about ravioli too. See, we're all sharing the same pain. This is what happens when you use food as the metric to talk about a region, which isn't really even fair because there's other things to talk about in terms of North Jersey versus South Jersey. But
what?
another
Is
thing,
there?
yes,
like
Other than the food thing, they're identical.
there
They
is.
just have stronger
There is
accents.
something else to talk about because there is the debate of whether Central Jersey exists.
It does.
It does.
Yeah, there's no debate.
There's a middle.
It exists, yeah.
Way to swat down that topic.
Sorry, buddy. It exists.
You know what? I'm going to see another foot doctor.
You're not. They're not going to see you. I already put out the word.
You're blacklisted.
We've got a podiatrist chat going on.
I've been Foot Clanned.
Oh,
God damn it.
God.
That's good.
Moving on from that, the Central Jersey thing is complicated. Like, we just had a complicated time with the North-South Jersey thing. And there is something, I wouldn't know how to qualify or where to cut the lines, for a Central Jersey. But I feel like it's something, but also like you're dealing with like the shore area too. And it's like, which is like its own.
It's the
thing.
same problem as you run into, I think, with whenever you try and draw the lines between people.
Yeah.
You're inevitably going to end up with a gray area. It's just something that's going to happen because the lines are not fine the way that we want them to be.
Never are.
So instead, what you've got is a strong line between North and South Jersey, but there's definitely this group of people that exist in between. And I say definitely because I endorse the idea of there being a Central Jersey, right? And I think that you could do that in any state, in any region, that there's like the lines that we draw between people, but there's then fine lines, where you have to be a little bit more nuanced about it. And I think that Central Jersey is that nuanced area where it doesn't quite line up with North Jersey, nor does it quite line up with South Jersey. For me, South Jersey, when I think of it, and I say this in an endearing way, is that it's fucking redneck, it's hillbilly, we're like killing chickens and fucking random bullshit in a fucking, it's like a hillbilly Alabama kind of
Them
place.
pinies.
Yeah, exactly. Piney people. And I love that. And then in North Jersey, you've got a population that very much so mirrors New York. It's hyper urbanized, all the things we've already talked about. And then you've got this middle area where it kind of touches upon both things, where it's like maybe you are a bit of a New Yorker, but at the same time, your neighbor might have chickens. Maybe he's killing them. Maybe he's fucking them. You don't know. That's their business,
Community guidelines just violated.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
That's my job.
Don't violate the community
You
guidelines.
better speak up then.
What I think we do with North and South Jersey and like Central Jersey is I think we take the central part of Jersey, and just cut off the top and cut off the bottom. And our real argument is I don't think there is a Central Jersey because we take North Jersey and South Jersey, but we take the central part of that, and that's what we divide as North and South because no one goes to the bottom of New Jersey.
But how do you
and no one
then
goes to
define-
the fucking top of New Jersey.
But how
either.
do you then
May is
define? How do you define then that person who lives in like an Ocean County area, for example, right? So they're like living there. They're not a New Yorker. They're not urbanized, right? That's not their thing, right? But at the same time, they don't know how to like swap out their transmission or like do fucking like redneck shit, just like in general. They are people who somehow exist in the middle of that trend.
It's kind of what I'm saying. I'm saying is like we ignore the bottom of New Jersey and the top of New Jersey. So the Ocean County to me is south because it's
It's unique though from South Jersey it would be my point that it is different from South Jersey. South Jersey is Alabama to me, and North Jersey is New York, and then there's this like what would you call it, like Pennsylvania's in the middle.
So let me jump in here real quick, because then your definition of when North Jersey ended and South Jersey began, that would just be a Central Jersey area then, because you were saying it was like Tom's River.
By default, it would be a Central Jersey area because it doesn't match either of these two criteria. In other words, South Jersey is super fucking redneck, podunk, whatever you want to call it. North Jersey is hyper urbanized and very attuned to New York. And then there's this spot in the middle where it doesn't match those criteria. So in other words, I'm defining it by this like cultural terminology as opposed to the other ways in which you could judge it. So I'm saying that culturally, there's a part of New Jersey that doesn't match these other things. And that makes it unique.
The cultural thing doesn't match up with the regional dialect used for the two areas, though. So you have North Jersey, Central Jersey, and South Jersey, but they don't line up because those cultural things could just be anywhere in the state, regardless of...
You mean the dialect in terms of how people speak?
No. I mean, like, in terms of your definition, where you have, like, urbanized, rural, and it's, you're practically in Alabama and that's South Jersey, but you could be practically in Alabama in North Jersey, just, again, as I said before, like, in the northwest area.
That's true.
Of
If
the
you
state.
go to West Jersey, so I will say this, that the population of New Jersey is very much so skewed towards the coast.
Yes.
Very few people live in the western part of New Jersey. So I would agree with you there. If you go over to northwestern Jersey, you're going to find a very different class of people. And I will actually bring this back to the food conversation that we were having before. Not so much with pork roll, but with what we call subs. We call them subs here, but they also have the other terms for them. I feel like you got, there's a hoagie. That's in South Jersey. Yeah. We call it a hoagie in South Jersey. And you've also got in Northwest Jersey, very unique location within the state. That's called a grinder.
It's also a type of hockey player. They go into the corners.
No one cares about that.
It's also a gay hookup app. So also not a sponsor.
That's true, actually. So I forgot about the gay thing. Regardless, rather than go back on my argument, I would further expand upon it and say that Northwest Jersey is its own thing as well. It's not tied to the rest of the state because it isn't North Jersey. South Jersey is very much so the same, I think. It's like pretty consistent until you reach Philly. But when you're talking about North Jersey, you've got the coastal part of it, which that's the part where I would say it very much so mirrors New York, almost the same. Yeah. It's a watered down version, no offense. But the western part of it, the grinder part of it, who are using that gay app, those people, whoever they are, that's its own unique group as well that I would say properly mirrors Pennsylvania and so on and so forth. It's rich mountain people. I don't know what you would call them.
Rich mountain people.
Rich mountain people. Yeah. I stand by that. Yeah. I'll double down.
People divide, too, Jersey by, like, sports. It's like, New York versus Pennsylvania. It's like, what, are you a Giants fan or a Eagles fan?
Well, that's just it. When you're in South Jersey, it's Eagles. And when you're in North Jersey, it's Giants.
Right.
That's just straight up how it is. Yeah.
And if you're a loser, it's Jets.
You ain't wrong. You ain't wrong.
Spoken like a true Dolphins fan.
Yeah.
All right. So I feel like we've tackled a few parts of this North Jersey, South Jersey, Central Jersey debate enough. We are running a bit out of time, but I did want to ask one more question of you, Kristina, because we have talked about your cat situation on the podcast before. So I would like you to tell your perspective of that story as we wrap things up here on the Loud and Drunk podcast.
My story of my cat getting sick?
Yeah, because Justin's told us the story.
Oh, he did such a good job of telling that story. He saved my cat's life.
But you have a perspective.
I do.
Of that.
Do you want my story, though? Oh, so, like, FYI, my cat is now FIP free. He is clear of it. He is healthy and happy and makes me very happy. But the whole experience was extremely traumatic because he basically was my cat before I moved in with Justin, and then it became our cat. But without Justin, my cat would be dead because I wouldn't be able to give my cat injections for 87 days.
God bless you both.
Yeah.
I mean, I did the
love
cute
that
thing
cat.
of just giving the cat treats every now and, while he's giving him these shots. But I wouldn't have, I honestly, I don't think that I could have been able to give the actual injections myself. Like, he saved our cat's life.
Well, we have talked about, several vet visits. Some of them had been a little bit more frantic. So I'm curious as to how, because you were the one in ground zero during that trip.
Yes.
If there's anything that you would like to, are comfortable sharing about that trip with us on the podcast.
So yeah, I visited multiple vets before actually getting the proper diagnosis of my cat. And basically I paid a vet to tell me that my cat might die. And I still appreciate that vet. So after hearing that we don't know what's going on and multiple tests, I took him to another vet, and that vet, while he was telling me what was happening with my cat, got on his knees to explain to me that my cat will die. And there's they really don't know why or what unless I continue to do certain things. And so he had to tell me, without telling me, to take my cat to the hospital, the animal hospital. And it was like an hour away from where I lived. And at that point, I'm in tears. I have no idea what to do. And I'm kind of asking, what am I supposed to do here? And he said, if it were my cat, this is what I would do. And that, to me, I paid the whole visit just to hear him say that, because no one else was telling me this is what you need to do. And so I showed up and I had to spend 10 hours at the hospital so they could overnight him and give him the IVs that he had needed, so that the next day when they could properly diagnose him with what the FIP that he had actually had, and then the steps that we had to take in order to save him, which the vet couldn't really help with. They had to just send me elsewhere to be able to save my cat's life. But
that was the interaction where it was the wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Correct. Yes. But he did it in such a sincere way. Thank goodness, because I didn't know what to do. I was like, I can't watch my cat die. And they're like, just go here. And I'm like, I can't do that. And so they had to pull it up for me and send it to me so that I could at that time figure out in my head, oh, there is a solution, but you just are not telling me that this is the solution. I have to come to that conclusion myself.
From the story that Justin told on the podcast, we heard all about it, how much of a pain in the ass was. I remember, because we talked about the dog that I had that passed away. We had to do the same thing. It wasn't for any kind of disease. He just had allergy problems for his whole life. And I would be the one that just pretty much I had to bear hug this poor little dog, as my mom was the one who gave him the injection. So I understand. You wouldn't expect it from a dog that size, where I'm just bear hugging him. I'm just trying to expose that one little spot. And I take my shirt off to take a shower after the whole interaction. And I'm like, that dog cut the shit out of me. Because he didn't know what was happening. Because you can't explain to an animal, listen, this is for your own good. You might die, or you will die, if you don't get these injections.
Yeah, Justin was nervous that Melvin was going to associate him with the shots. But luckily it wasn't the case, because initially, before the shots, when we were giving him medication, he was already hiding from, at a certain time of day, he was hiding from me. He knew what was going to happen. And so when Joseph brought that to my attention, I'm like, yeah, I don't know. That might actually happen. But luckily it didn't. He actually, we started calling it treat time. And so he was excited to, at least he knew he was going to get something special for this painful injection.
Very happy to hear that your cat is as well.
Doing great.
All right. So with all of that, lady and gentlemen, I think we're about done here. What are you doing over there?
You know what he's doing.
Got called out by the teacher.
Well, gotta go.
You have another home call you have to do for foot fetishes or something?
Listen, yes.
If you got a home call, it should be to subscribe to this podcast. Leave us a 5-star review. Check us out on YouTube and Rumble. Do not miss any of those shorts that we are putting out. Make sure that you like, comment, share, and subscribe. You can also follow us on social media. We are at Loud and Drunk on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. If you enjoyed this podcast, then become a Loud and Drunk supporter at loudanddrunk.locals.com and patreon.com/loud and drunk. Moses, you haven't said anything in a while. You got any closing thoughts?
I'm gonna get someone to make me some pork belly dumplings.
You falling asleep?
Pork?
over there? What's going on?
Yeah.
Pork belly dumplings.
It's like
You've been drinking?
ravioli.
You been drinking? Sir, have you been drinking?
No, I don't touch the stuff. I'm still high from last night. I ate so many goddamn edibles last night.
I don't know why you're doing that.
Yeah. Well, we've come to expect that. That's a part of the Moses brand.
Absolutely. I barely got 100% out of this guy.
It's like 60 milligrams, and then I started eating them.
I don't know why you're... Oh, Jesus. All right, whatever.
I am high as fuck.
Well, that's a shame because I thought we were going to, watch some wrestling together.
Oh, well, we got to get these dumplings first.
Dr. Smear, you have any closing thoughts? I know you've got important business to do, but
I always do. I didn't know that I was going to be here for something of this caliber, if I'm being polite. Check your feet, everybody. Let me check your feet. Dan, I'd like to check your feet. We can do a sex thing about it. It can be neutral. It can be whatever you want it to be. Moses, yourself included.
All right.
Yeah.
I hope you like these socks.
Pop them up. I don't.
They're very
I don't
hard.
like them at all, actually. Yeah. Not very into feet, but, mostly a cat doctor, if we're being honest.
Oh, cat feet doctor.
Yeah, it's cat feet.
feet doctor.
Yeah, because they're adorable. They wear socks and
Those little
it's like
beans.
just built in. Exactly, it's little beans. Yeah, I'm just
God,
gonna
this
put you
episode's dying the slowest death ever.
cat feet fever.
cat feet fever. Oh my God, I'm putting Moses to sleep though. Just to be honest with everybody, he's reached the end of that line.
Justin and Kristina, do you have any closing thoughts?
I had a great time. Yeah, no real closing thoughts. I thought, it was interesting discussion, trying to define and probably even complicate the argument about Jersey even more. No, it's a good time, and thank you, Kristina, for joining us today.
Thank you for having me. I think Jersey's awesome regardless of where you are. It's the better place
That's
to
fair.
be in the country.
It's a decent state. We skate by.
It's a great note to wrap up on. It's a decent steak.
Yeah, we skate by. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Where there's things that I want that I won't get. But, it's New Jersey. I live here. It is a place.
It is. It exists.
It exists. Oh, that's
What
nice.
a rousing endorsement.
Yeah. The New Jersey Tourist Association, whatever it's called, will be happy to hear that.
Well, listen, I don't know what they're talking about, but what they should be talking about is Securicats.
Oh, my. So, for Moses, Dr. Smear, Justin, and Kristina, thank you so much for joining us. And to you out there, thank you for joining us as well. And until next time, this is Loud and Drunk.
The divided states of New Jersey.
Yeah, it's crumbling before us.
It's more than one state.
It's
It
getting
could
there.
be.
The New Jersey Civil War that
It's,
you don't know anything about because you think it's a revolutionary war.
Taylor.
That was a
Taylor's
confusing conversation. I told you not to do the Gettysburg thing. Didn't I tell you?
And did I not listen to you?
Yeah, you did. You did. But I just want to rub it in your face that he doesn't know shit about that.